Hello everyone! Today we will give a look at one of the key features of Jaspersoft Studio. We will talk about the expression editor, something that you will for sure use in your daily work with reports. Expressions in Jasper reports are a way to express generic formulas. Many settings in the report can be defined using these expressions, which allow to show or hide an element, perform special calculation, or invoking custom functions. Indeed, expressions in general are one of the foundation features of Jasper reports and therefore of Jaspersoft Studio as well. Let's now give a closer look at this expression editor. So we start creating our report. We choose one of the default template. We can choose, for example, the cherry landscape. We select the sample DB in order to get some data from the DB shipped with Jaspersoft Studio. We select a bunch of fields. And we also select a group by. Let's now run the report and see the actual result. Okay, let's now switch back to the Design tab and choose one of our text fields in order to see the expression editor. As you can see, it can be activated by a simple double click, or it can also be activated using the Properties view and choosing the expression we want to modify. In the title, there is the information related to which language we are using in the editor. Currently is Java because we did not modify the default language of the report. The expression editor supports a Java-like syntax, therefore it can handle pretty well expressions for such languages like Java and Groovy. Down here, there are 3 sections, and basically, besides presenting all the needed details expression related, they allow to create a simple expression in a point-click way. The first one contains the categories, so you have, for example, parameters, fields, variables, resources that are usually for internationalization. You have the built-in function grouped in different categories. These 2 last categories are used when you start editing properties, and their expressions are many times similar, or some of them are used very often. In user-defined expressions, you will see all the expressions that the user has defined in Jaspersoft Studio dedicated preference page. While in recent expressions, as the name says, you will see an ordered list of all the user expressions edited or entered before. A sort of history. Back to the sections, the central one details the information related to the first selected category, so you might see all the parameters or probably some of the functions that are belonging to the selected categories. The third one expands these details in a very specific way, so for example, for a function you will see the information on what it does. For a field, on the other side, you will probably see the list of all the Java methods, for example. Here we selected shipped date and it is a timestamp object, so you will see here all the Java methods associated with it. The search box on the tops allows to quickly filter out the results when the list is very long. So for example, we might search after and we see the result. Finally, the text area is where you can edit your expression, entering a small Java expression, for example, or even a simple formula like a 2-number sum. The expression editor tries its best in doing a soft validation of the entered expression. Therefore, some basic grammar checks are performed, as you can see. The warning message is usually meaningful, telling you that there is something wrong in the expression you are trying to use. But of course, there are some corner cases that might still consider the expression as incorrect, even if it's not. That's the main reason why you can choose to confirm an expression even if considered broken. If it's working or not, you might see it when you run the report. But let's now use the expression editor with a real case. If you remember, in our initial report, the order date was presented with all the information, date and time, since the field is actually a timestamp object. Let's figure out how to fix this presentation thing so that the displayed date is formatted using day, month, and year. So let's delete this. Let's select a date and time function. In our case, we will choose date format. We can select the order date, back, and as format pattern, you might choose something like this. Okay. Let's now change also the shipped date. Here we modify and we put ship year because we want to show only the year. We modify the expression here. We get rid of this. We select the year function and we select our ship date. Let's click finish again. Okay, let's now try to run the report. Okay, as you can see, the date is formatted and here we have the ship year. Another thing that we can modify is get rid of this ugly null. So let's go back to the design and here in ship year, let's maybe try to use another function. We will use the if function, so we need to verify that if our shipped date is null, we should print something like this, otherwise the year. Oh, of course, if you select if, you see the information set here. Let's click finish and try to run the report again. Perfect. At the beginning we mentioned the user defined expression. I told you that it's possible to edit them in the Jaspersoft Studio preference. There is indeed a page where you can access this information. It's actually here, into the editors, expression editor. So here you can add the new expression, remove them, and choose also to order them. However, it's possible also to add expressions, custom one, let's say, directly from the expression editor. So let's go back to the design, select, for example, this date format one. Let's open the expression editor. And maybe for whatever reason we want to add this expression to the list of the user-defined ones. We simply right-click on the text and we select Add User-Defined Expression. If we go to the dedicated category, we will see the new entry. And also, since we modified some expressions, we can give a look to the recent expression category and see that we have some of the recent expression we entered and edited. As mentioned at the beginning, expression and therefore the access to the expression editor is spread everywhere in Jaspersoft Studio when navigating through properties view, simple and advanced ones. We can have an idea of this just going back to our main designer. So as you can see, you can here modify the pattern expression, or you can even go here in the advanced section, choose for example to modify some of the properties, and you can have here a bunch of properties you can modify using the expression editor. One important thing that's worth mentioning about the expression editor is that it uses a so-called expression context that is relative to where we are trying to modify the information. So modifying expressions related to properties of a chart using a different dataset will pop up an expression dialog with a different context, so different parameters, variables, fields, and so on, compared to what you normally see when you are modifying properties related to the report main dataset. We can conclude here this quick and first introduction to the expression editor. We will probably see in another video how it's possible to create a new custom function with your own code. Thanks everyone for watching.